Hi, everybody, and happy whatever day it is in your world. I am Cassandra. I am the founder and director of FlowFests, and I wanted to create this little video as an introduction to the CrowdCast setup. So this is what you can expect when you attend a FlowFests virtual event. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to share is the FlowFests Facebook page. And on this FlowFests Facebook page, as you can see, there's a section to buy tickets. So if I go through that link, I get to the Eventbrite ticket page. I can purchase my workshop pass here. And once I purchase my workshop pass for the event, it will automatically pre-register my email for the FlowFests virtual event. That happens automatically. So if I purchase a workshop pass through Eventbrite, I am automatically pre-registered for one of the FlowFests virtual events, whichever one I'm purchasing a workshop pass for. So this particular event is Northwest FlowFest, and this is the Northwest FlowFest Virtual Intensive. Okay? The Virtual Intensive is where the bulk of the workshops will be taking place. So we're going to have workshops throughout the day, local time for each event. So Northwest FlowFest will be on Pacific time. The event will open at 10 a.m. and the event will open at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and workshops will begin at 10 a.m. The virtual intensive can only be accessed by purchasing a pass. You can do that through Eventbrite, but you could also do that through the CrowdCast page, the FlowFests page on CrowdCast. So once I purchase my workshop pass to the virtual intensive, which has workshops from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., then I would go to the FlowFests page. So I'm going to receive a confirmation that will give me, I will receive a confirmation once I purchase my workshop pass that will include the URL for the FlowFests CrowdCast page. So once I have that, now I'm going to show you navigating over to the CrowdCast and what that looks like. And here we go. So here I am on the FlowFests CrowdCast page. I already received my confirmation that I've purchased my workshop pass for Northwest FlowFest Virtual Intensive. So when I click on that event, it's going to bring me to this page, but I already purchased my workshop pass. So why would I save my spot for another $20? You don't need to do that. Underneath this button that says Save My Spot $20, there's a line of text that says Already Joined, Sign Back In. So if I click this and I enter the email address that I pre-registered when I purchased my workshop pass. So because I am also a CrowdCast user, I do have an account with them as an attendee. So I've already registered for this event. I'm going to hit Return to Event. And this is what I will see as an attendee. I'm going to see the welcome page for the event. This event hasn't started yet, but it will be starting June 27th. And because I happen to be on Eastern time, it's showing me my times in Eastern time. Okay, so noon Eastern time, also known as 9 a.m. Pacific time, is when this event will begin. But the chat is already active. So I could add something to the chat. Greetings, Flow Fests peeps. So excited to connect here virtually. And now my message is in the chat, okay? But there's also something about this window that I really want to focus on, which is the schedule. So if I move my cursor up to the upper left-hand corner and click inside this tab, basically, are all of the sessions for Northwest Flow Fest. This is the entire event schedule for the virtual intensive. Again, these are the workshops that you can only access with a workshop pass. So these are already live. Each one of these sessions, I could go in, let's say I wanted to leave a message for the instructor for this session. This is Hoops, Circus Style Single Hoop with Ali Padiak. So excited for this workshop. So I've just left a message in the chat. I can also ask a question. So down here at the bottom, there's a section of the window that prompts me to ask questions. If I have a specific question during the workshop or before the workshop that I want the instructor to answer, I can ask it here. So I'm going to ask, Ali, how are you so amazing? If you know Ali Padiak, and you know she is amazing. When Ali comes into this workshop, she's going to see this question here, and she'll be able to timestamp her answer, which means that answer will be available when the event is complete and the playback sessions are live. So I'll talk about that in just a moment. But just to review, using the schedule up in the upper left-hand corner of the virtual intensive, I can go in and out of any session even before the event starts. If I have a specific question for an instructor in Hope's workshop here on Saturday, June 27th, karate hula hoop style, I might ask that question, but I might not even choose to attend that workshop or that session. I could attend another session and then view my question, if she answers it, in the playback of the workshop. So that's really exciting. And now I want to navigate away from this window, but this is inside the virtual intensive. So once you purchase a workshop pass, you'll have access to the virtual intensives for each of the Flow Fest events that you purchase a workshop pass for. But what if you don't want to purchase a workshop pass? What if you want to attend Flow Fest for free? You absolutely can do that. We have free events, just like at a normal Flow Fest event that you attend in person. Ordinarily, Flow Fest events are free of charge. So when you arrive at the event, you don't have to purchase a workshop pass. You can just shop the vendors or attend the performance. Or maybe you want to jump in on a free workshop that's happening. So that is also available in the virtual space. We've set up Flow Fest's events that are free access. So I'm going to show you how to enter one of those and what's available. Once again, I'm going to share my screen. And this time, I'm going to be accessing the CrowdCast page. And let me focus on this screen. Okay. So this time, I'm going to choose, instead of the virtual intensive, I'm going to choose Northwest Flow Fest Visualize. Again, Northwest Flow Fest and all of the other virtual Flow Fests this year, they do have a free component to them, which starts at 4 p.m. each day of the event. So this time, there's no ticket price for entry. I'm going to hit Save My Spot. And because I was already signed in as Cassandra, I'm still signed in here. So this is the free event, okay? And there's a message in the chat from FlowFests. So excited to kick off the free public Northwest FlowFest 2020 event. Join us here for free workshops, performances, and jams. So if I go to the schedule, again, I'm hovering with my cursor in the upper left-hand corner of the window. I can see that there are workshops here. These workshops are all free. So on Saturday, June 27th, Flowing Gator will be teaching an intro to silk fans. Also, Aileen Lawler will be teaching beginner contact staff. Jordan Burns will be leading a discussion workshop that is called Building Your First Solo Acts. And Johnny Wan will be teaching a workshop in Juggling 101, Introduction to Juggling. And then Allie will also be teaching a balance workshop with hoops. After that, in the free event, we're going to have a maker's market. So a number of our sponsors, FlowFest sponsors, will be available during maker's market sessions to take you on a tour of their workshop and answer any questions that you might have about their products. And then we have the instructor showcase. So those are all happening on Saturday, June 27th, and all of those are free. And again, you can move in and out of those sessions as you please. On Sunday, June 28th, we also have beginner workshops in juggling with Zach Shugart. This one is a balance-focused workshop. So whereas Allie's workshop on balance was focused on hoops, this one is based in juggling techniques. And then there's a Find Your Flow beginner's hoop session with Nick Hoop Love, hailing from Seattle. We have another silk fan workshop with Flowing Gator, beginner combos with silk fans. And then Johnny Juan Guardiola will be teaching a poi workshop in exploring flowers. And Thai Foods will be teaching an animation style dance workshop. Those are all free from 4 p.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday, June 28th of Northwest Flow Fest 2020. At 5 p.m. Pacific, Barbara Alfonso will be teaching a yoga workshop. And then we're going to do a film screening at 6 p.m. Pacific of a documentary that was created for Texas Flow Fest. I'm really excited about this because very few people have seen this film, and it was created by a photographer and videographer who is known as the artist Blessed, but I know him as Brian. He's the executive samurai of FlowFests, and he came out to all of the FlowFests that were held in 2016, and at Texas FlowFest, he created this documentary, and it's really awesome. It goes through the journey of a number of different artists, including Mike Hayataka, Gustavo Alita, Liz Knights, Shelly Whitelight, Jeremiah Jacobs, aka Coach, and many more. So definitely come back. Even if you're not taking any of the free workshops, even if you are really just interested in what FlowFests are about, you want to check out this documentary. It's happening on Sunday, June 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So that is how you can access the free events. Again, you would visit this through the FlowFests channel on CrowdCast. You can also access the free events directly from a link inside each event on Facebook and also on the website. In fact, let me show the website view for just a moment. Hold, please. Okay. The website view. So if you wanted to attend any of these events, just one event through the website, we are going to take a little trip to the website. So hopefully, let's see, the website is showing yes. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to spotlight that. And on the website, if I navigate to Northwest FlowFest, since that is the FlowFest that we're using as an example for this video, the website has an option on it, if I scroll and find it, to come for free. Get involved in Northwest FlowFest, buy a workshop pass, or come for free. So both of these will take you to the sites that they say. So if I say come for free, it takes me directly to the free event for Northwest FlowFest Visualize. And again, I can just hop into this. I don't have to pay for access to the free events. So I do want to say a couple of things about what seems to work best with using CrowdCast. If you are attending one of the virtual intensive sessions, so if you're attending a workshop, or if you're attending one of the free workshops that are being offered from 4 p.m. on local time during each FlowFest event, you're going to want to be able to be brought up on screen. So what will happen during the event is an instructor will be teaching something. Let's see, I have my hoop here. So if I'm instructing a specific move, let's say we're talking about drilling for isolations. And in my isolation drill sequence, I'm going to be covering the top part of the isolation. And so as I'm covering this top part of the isolation, you might say, wait a minute, I'm not really getting that. What are you doing? What is that grip switch? And you might say something in the chat like, bring me up on screen. So let's say, once again, I'm covering this isolation part of the workshop, this specific drill. And you might say, bring me up on screen in the chat. And when you do that, I'm going to send you an invitation. But something you might want to check out first is what browser you're using. This system works best with Chrome. So if you want your video to be available also so that the instructor of the session can spot check you or support you in making certain corrections, you can absolutely do that. We can bring you up. A host will invite you on screen, but you want to make sure that you're using Chrome as your browser. So when you purchase a workshop pass for the festival, there are some technical support documents in that workshop pass. And another one I'm going to show you right now. Actually, one of them I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to share my screen. And this is available at any time for you. It is a guest checklist, and it was created by the creators of CrowdCast. So here's a checklist. You want to join from a compatible browser. Chrome seems to be the best. And this is also from my experience, as well as something that's advocated by the creators. You want to make sure your browser is up to date. You want to use headphones. Hello. This will eliminate echo and feedback. Now, I know that that's not going to be possible all the time. So if you are being brought on screen and you don't have headphones, and of course it is tricky to use headphones with props, so I understand. But if you don't have headphones, you want to turn your volume on your screen down so that this will help eliminate the echo and feedback. You want to make sure that you have a strong internet connection, and you can test that here. And then there's a checklist. And this checklist just makes sure that it's easy to access your computer's video so that we can bring you on screen. And as it turns out, I think that there is somebody who is attending this session who is ready to be brought up on screen. Let's see. I think I have an attendee here. I don't know whether he can hear me, but I believe, oh, great. He just posted in the chat that he's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and invite him on screen. Yes. And this attendee, who happens to be FlowFest's featured artist for 2020, Zach Shugart, is going to accept my invitation, and here he is. Hey, Zach.
Hello, hello.
So thank you for joining me. I know that you just finished a very successful virtual event using a different platform, and I'm super excited. ClubFest was a smashing success, and I'm sure you're absolutely exhausted. Virtual events are just as intense as in-person events in many ways, but you do get to sleep in your own bed at night. So, you know, there are benefits and liabilities, right? So I was just reviewing this specific technique with drilling isolations. And if you were someone who was taking my workshop, then you might ask me a question about that. So, you know, in theory, what I'm doing with my drills is I'm really covering some of the most common problem areas for isolations. So when I drill isolations, I'm focusing on the top part here, this grip switch, which in slow motion looks like that. And also the bottom of the isolation. This tends to be a trouble spot for most hoopers and most jugglers also who are working with isolation, which is this smile. This also happens to be arm strength builder, just this drill. So I highly recommend covering the biggest problem areas in isolation, which are the bottom, the smile, from approximately 4 o'clock on one side to 7 o'clock on the other, or 8 o'clock on the other. And then the top part of the grip switch for an isolation. Okay, enough about that. Zach, I know that we're going to do another component of this. This is a little video to help people feel comfortable in the virtual environment of FlowFest. So, but as an attendee, is there anything that you want to say now since you're on screen?
As for pertaining to FlowFests?
Sure, or just the system, or as an attendee, how easy it is, anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I think CrowdCast is going to be really the perfect fit for these types of events that we're doing, especially with kind of working hands-on and very in-depth with the event this last weekend. It can be really tricky as an instructor to interact with people in a way that's streamlined, and like to be able to like pinpoint and have a user control ability to see what each person's doing. And it can be difficult if you're not familiar with Zoom or familiar with that platform. But this one's really nice because you can actually share and hotspot, 4 people on the screen at a time, and you're not looking at these like little tiny tiles of being like, what the hell's going on? And so far, this has been probably the best quality streaming I've seen in terms of crispness of movement and clarity, where I'm excited to see it happen. And just like the breakout rooms and all that, it's very streamlined so that I feel like there'll be a little bit more of a user interaction on this, that people can kind of actually interact face to face. Whereas I think people can get intimidated by that in Zoom because you have 100 people in there and you're like, oh, I don't know these people, I'm just going to like type it in the chat. Whereas you can like ask your question and then the host can be like, hey, are you all right with sharing your screen? And then it will like actually come up to the screen, which will be really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited about it also. So Zach, you know that up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, there's another session scheduled, right? So I'm actually going to say goodbye to you here, and then I'm going to bring you up on screen in that other session. Okay, which is your session as an instructor. So Thank you. By the way, thank you for taking time out of your decompression day to,
You're so welcome.
to do this with me. I'm going to be editing this video a little bit after the fact and posting it so that everybody can see how easy it is to attend and then also to instruct at one of the virtual FlowFest events. So that's the next part we'll get into. Thank you so much again. All right.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to help.
Bye for now. So we just got an opportunity to see that was pretty easy. So an attendee at any point in a workshop, you can say, hey, bring me on screen. I don't really understand. Show me that again. What's going on with my hand? So yeah, type it in the chat. We'll bring you right up on screen. There's one thing that I do want to showcase before I shift to giving some instruction for instructors, for the people who will be leading the workshops. And that is the season pass. So if you purchase, it is possible to purchase a pass to all of the FlowFest's events all at once. Here it is. And when you purchase the season pass, it will grant you automatic entry into all of the FlowFest's virtual intensives. So this pass is available on each of the FlowFest's Facebook events. Inside the body of the Facebook event in the info, you'll see a link for the season pass. And when you purchase this workshop pass, it is $60. So it's a $20 savings from purchasing each individual FlowFest event singly. And again, you can purchase this from our event sprout, and it will automatically pre-register your email address for every single FlowFest event this season. So big thanks to Nick Pride, who made the request. It was a powerful request to have a season pass. So yes, you can attend all of the FlowFests in 2020 from wherever you are. And if you want to purchase a workshop pass for the virtual intensives of each FlowFest event, you can do that now with the season pass. I will say that even though they're virtual and they can be attended and instructed from anywhere, I am focusing on each local regional space for the instructors. So Northwest FlowFest, the instructors are coming from the Seattle area and the Portland area. And I'm very excited about that because for each of the FlowFest events that I've created over the last 10 years, the community is different. The community that attends Northwest FlowFest is very different from the community that attends Texas FlowFest. And now that we can attend them all together, I still want to maintain a spotlight on the really stellar instructional capacity that each of these regions are creating within FlowArts, the innovation and the technique. It's different. It is specific. It's site specific. And so we can still go local, even though we're going virtual.